What's up YouTube, it's Wayne's Fish World. In this video, we're going to be talking about RODI water versus regular tap water. What are the benefits of RODI water in a saltwater aquarium, and what are the disadvantages? Well, let me tell you this straight off the bat. When I was using tap water for this saltwater tank, my my nitrates were reading off the charts. And that's why you guys can see this tank has a load of cyanobacteria. Now, cyanobacteria is caused by three reasons. One, it's nature's way of removing phosphates and nitrates because it'll consume it, and it also occurs when there's low oxygen levels in the tank. Now, no, I do not have low oxygen levels in the tank because I have a good protein skimmer on my tank. That's an eShops 125. It's not the best protein skimmer, but I think we can all agree on for what you pay for it. It's a very good skimmer. It's not ridiculously overpriced. You get what you pay for. It gives good results. You can't ask for much more for what money you put down on it. So, my tap water had off the chart nitrates. Well, I did two water changes of RODI water in my 55-gallon tank. I did a 45% water change. Took out 32 gallons roughly. These are my results. Now this was tested about, let's see here. It was tested at, what time was it? Around 3 o'clock, and it's now almost 10 o'clock. And as time goes on, your reading only gets darker and darker and darker. There is my nitrates. I'm reading roughly undetectable, 0. It's not 0, but it's undetectable. So that's great. What does that mean for me? That means my tank is finally back on track. I knew RODI water was the key because let me tell you what happened, guys. My system is set up so it can take out nitrates and phosphates the natural way, and now it can do it without a problem. You guys see I keep that clump of caulerpa in there. That way the tanks can eat off, and they do all the time. But if you take a look down here, I've got a protein skimmer rated for a 125-gallon tank on a 55-gallon tank with a 29-gallon sump. I don't count the sump because the sump is completely nitrate removal. I have a refugium, and I actually cut this thing back a little so it can grow a little better. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, the glass has a whole bunch of salt on it. I was fiddling around last night, so I should have cleaned it. And then I have a deep sand bed that's contained. And the reason I contained my deep sand bed is because I didn't want anything getting into it. I didn't want it to be disturbed. If you disturb a deep sand bed in the future, it can backfire on you. So the best thing to do, let it go natural, throw some bristle worms in there, and just let it go. And you guys, I don't know if the camera will pick it up in this light, but you can see all those air pockets down there. And that's just, anaerobic bacteria turn a nitrate into nitrogen gas, and the nitrogen gas will bubble out. Now this thing is right here is a storage container for like pencils and whatever, and this is a DIY filter. We'll talk about this in another video. And the media I use to get rid of phosphate is the refugium and PhosGuard. It's not GFO. Now I know there's rumors out there that it says it leaches silicates and stuff into the water, but it's doing really good for me. So another thing I noticed, this anemone right here, this cotty anemone, has been through hell and back. It's lived in water that had nitrates that were off the charts, and now it has perfect water conditions. Right before I did the RODI water changes, this thing was shivered up into like the size of that hippo tank. Now with the RODI water, it's starting to open back up. It's loving the conditions. So that means I can add more corals or start introducing corals into my tank again. SPSs, LPS, softies, mushrooms, leathers, you name it, I'm going to introduce it. So how is RODI water better than tap water? Now, yeah, you say, yeah, my tap water doesn't have nitrates. My city water has a good filtration system, or I'm on a private well. I live on my own land, and I've got a shallow well, or I've got a deep artesian well or something, and you got no nitrates. That's fine. But still, you've got heavy metals, maybe copper through your piping, whatever, you've got it in your tank. You don't know it, but you've got it. So RODI water, what is it exactly? It is reverse osmosis deionized water. And what it does is it processes water through a couple stages. You can either get 3 stages, 4 stages, 5 stages. I've seen some people go out to have an 8 stage. That's crazy. I'm sure they have more anyways. But the product that comes out of the RODI unit is simply H2O. I'm not going to explain osmosis, but osmosis is basically how all the elements in the water dispute evenly. So reverse osmosis takes those elements of the water out. And in fresh water, when you add your tap water, there's elements in fresh water that's present that's not present in seawater. Now, when you take the RODI water out of your unit and then mix it with synthetic salt, you have synthetic seawater. It's replicating seawater. It's not replicating fresh water with salt mixed to it. It's replicating seawater. Because in seawater, you don't have all those elements that you find in salt water. And you don't have all the elements in salt water that you find in fresh water. So you can't expect to get results, because if you add fresh water and your salt, you get nutrient buildup, you get cyanobacteria, you get hair algae. So you've got to get the RODI unit. And guys, the RODI water is just going to save you so much. You don't want to go back to the local fish store. Hey, here's my 5-gallon jug. Can you give me some water for? Yeah, it's cheap. It's like 75, 60 some cents, 80 some cents, all depending on your pet store, your location. Yeah, it's cheap. But guys, I used to do that too. I had 2 5-gallon gas cans, and I used the ones for diesel. And I bought that at the local fish store every week. Hey, fill me up. Hey, fill me up. That got annoying. What I do is I mount it in my basement, and I have a 32-gallon trash can underneath. I let it fill up. In a couple hours, I come back and check it and turn the unit off. And then, oh yeah, did I mention these things don't run on electricity? They just run on water pressure. And you've only got to change your membranes every couple years. You've got to change your carbon every couple months, all depending on the TDS of your water. The TDS is your total dissolved solids in your water. And guys, having your own unit is expensive. I finally bit the bullet, went ahead and purchased one, got it in. It was a little confusing at first. Just read the directions thoroughly, read it over and over and over and over and over, then actually do it step by step. And once you get it going, guys, you're like, holy crap, why didn't I do this earlier? I can't explain how much easier it is now just with the RODI water. So, how do you keep... Another problem I had in my tank was my system would remove the nitrates, right? And every time I topped off the water with fresh water to keep the salinity same, I had this problem. When I introduced the fresh water, it was introducing nitrates back into the system, so the tank would never stabilize. So, what I did is I went out and got this. This was an old 10-gallon tank I had laying around when I had 2 10-gallons rolling a couple years back. And what I did is I took the bottom rim off because I was going to make it a rimless tank because I really didn't care about it. I just want to see what it would look like. Well, it turns out when I was taking it off, I broke the seal. And I siliconed it back up. Well, the other night, I took it off to put RODI water in there. Let me get a stand for this camera real quick, guys. And what I did is I accidentally broke the seal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this thing off, throw it in the trash because the seal is broke, or I might keep it for just because you never know. What I did is I went to Walmart, and I'm not even going to do a leak test on here. You might think I'm stupid, but hey, I'm going to take that risk. And hey, I've got all the RODI water I need in my hand. I'm not even going to wash this thing out because I'm that confident in the Aquatech or whatever you want to call it tanks they make at Walmart. They sell there. Because you guys got to remember, I went through many of these things. I've never had a leak. No problems at all. And what I'm going to do now is, since this is in my basement, I also purchased a lid for about $7. Yeah, it might be a little overpriced. Oh well. I'm going to take this lid, place it on my tank. That way it's going to keep little bugs or whatever's in the basement that gets in the basement. And inside it's got the brackets and stuff I'll mount later, but I might not even put those on. And then I'll just take this airline tube, run it through one of these holes, sink it on the bottom, fill it up with RODI unit, restart the siphon, let it hook up again, and the video is going to run short in a minute, guys. But check this out. I'm also adding doors, a canopy to, the frame to the stand. It's going to have a total of, I think, 7 doors. We'll get into that in another video, guys. Comment, rate, and subscribe later.